Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Pulp Crazy. I'm your host, Jason Aiken. In this week's episode, I'm going to be discussing the current events surrounding the new Doc Savage movie, written and directed by Shane Black, and evidently starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Doc Savage. The new Doc Savage movie seems like it's been in development for years, with Black being announced as writer and director way back in 2013. But it appears to finally have some legs under it due to two recent events. The first event occurred on March 23rd, 2013. Shane Black mentioned in an Entertainment Weekly interview that he wanted Dwayne The Rock Johnson to play Doc Savage. The second event occurred 2 months later, on May 16th, 2016, when The Rock posted the following on his Instagram page. On the iPad, I'm reading an outline for a cool movie I'll make in 2017, parenthesis, with director Shane Black, parenthesis. Now, it's true that Shane Black has other projects in development. The Predator movie reboot jumped to my mind immediately, and I think that's a project that The Rock would be perfect for too, casting him as Dutch, the Arnold Schwarzenegger role from the original Predator film. But given the timing of Black stating how he wanted The Rock for Doc just 2 months earlier before The Rock posted this on his Instagram page, I think it's a safe bet The Rock is on board as Doc Savage. I've seen mixed reactions from Doc Savage fandom on Facebook, but I have to say, I'm completely fine with this. Now, I have to clarify, I'm not the biggest and or most well-read Doc Savage fan out there. My experience with the character begins with The Man of Bronze by Lester Dent and ends with Doc Savage, Escape from Loki by Philip Jose Farmer, along with Farmer's biography of the character, Doc Savage, His Apocalyptic Life. I would also like to read Up from Earth's Center by Lester Dent one day, but can't really say I'm interested in reading all of the Doc Savage super sagas. Basically, I'm interested in The Man of Bronze, which I've already read, and perhaps the John Sunlight sagas, and Up from Earth's Center of the original Pulp Doc Savage series. Those really stand out to me for some reason. That being said, as a general fan of the character, I think The Rock has the physical presence required to play him, and he has the star power to drum up enough interest from mainstream audiences to help make the film a success. Because, let's face it, if they make this movie aimed solely at us fans of the Pulp Doc Savage, they'll be playing to a pretty small audience when compared to the general movie-going public as a whole, worldwide. Besides, whenever a character moves from one medium to another, especially when the character has been around since the 1930s, compromises have to be made to make the movie not only more financially viable, but attractive to mainstream viewers. It also goes without saying, a story can be changed to better suit the medium. I think, quite possibly, the best example of this from a plot and story standpoint is the John Carter movie that Disney put out. Now, true, it got labeled as a box office bomb. But the story, I think they really captured the spirit of Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter in that film. Let's hope Shane Black does a similar thing, but with greater financial box office success with Doc Savage. Now, I also believe fans who think The Rock isn't a good enough actor to play Doc couldn't be more wrong. He's actually pretty damn good at getting into a character, in my opinion. Anyone who says The Rock can't act should check out some of his films, where he plays more than just an unstoppable, kick-ass tough guy. These include The Game Plan, a family dramedy, Faster, which was a pretty dark, character-driven action film, and Snitch, where he turned in a solid, dramatic performance. If you've seen The Rock act on screen, in the wrestling ring, and even on Saturday Night Live, you know he has the ability to get into and play a character. Plus, just look at that professional quality Photoshop job I did on this episode's title card. Doesn't The Rock look awesome rocking the James Bama Widow's Peak? Now, as I mentioned before, I don't think the Doc Savage we see in this new movie will be exactly like the Doc Savage Lester Dent wrote in The Man of Bronze back in 1933. It's just not going to happen. Look at all the Tarzan movies we've got over the years. In any of those films, did you see Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan? No. They were all variations of the original character. I have a feeling the same thing will be the case for the new Doc Savage movie. And in case you were wondering why I'm referring to the film as the new Doc Savage movie, it's because this isn't the first Doc Savage movie that's going to be released. Ron Ely, or Ron Eli, never sure really how to pronounce his name, played Doc in Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze, a film that was released back in 1975. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard it was made with a certain amount of camp. So, given that aspect alone, I believe the bar is set pretty low for the new film from the outset. Part of why I'm assuming the new film isn't going to be 100% faithful to the Pulp Doc Savage is due to some information that is leaked out about the script through the infamous Sony hack that occurred a few years back. I won't go into all the specific details on this podcast, because they would be spoilers, and they're relatively easy to find online anyway. Plus, I just don't want to pass along what's really stolen information. But from what has leaked, I just have a feeling this movie is going to be far closer to modern-day franchises that were inspired by classic pulp adventure stories, rather than be a down-to-earth pulp adventure itself. Although I understand the new Doc Savage movie is going to take place in the 1930s, which is great, I think it's going to be more stylistically along the lines of modern-era globe-trotting adventures, such as the Indiana Jones films and the Uncharted video game series, rather than the pulp-era Doc Savage stories. The information that leaked makes me believe the overall plot will be leaning a bit more toward the fantastic, rather than Doc's super science as well. I have to wonder if the positive buzz surrounding the trailers for the latest Tarzan film from Warner Brothers got Sony to fast-track their own pulp-era hero they've been sitting on for a few years. Either way, I'm glad to see not only Tarzan coming out this July, but hopefully Doc in 2017 next year. I encourage all Doc Savage purists to keep an open mind toward the new movie, because if you want to see a 100% faithful to the Pulp's Doc Savage movie, you're going to be waiting a long time. This is likely the only Doc Savage movie we're going to get, and with The Rock headlining it, it's positioned to do fairly well at the box office if they keep the budget in check, possibly opening the door for more films in the future. Now, the only question is, who do they get to play Doc's assistants, dubbed the Fabulous Five, and Doc's capable female cousin, Patricia Savage, or Pat for short? I'll be sure to keep an eye out for those casting announcements. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Pulp Crazy. Be sure to check out the show notes for some links to some Doc Savage-related Facebook discussion groups. Pulp Crazy is located at pulpcrazy.com. I'm at Pulp Crazy on Twitter and facebook.com/pulpcrazy. I'm also on Instagram at instagram.com/pulpcrazy. My YouTube channel is located at youtube.com/pulpcrazy. You can also email me at pulpcrazy@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.